Hey everyone! For this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make these gorgeous earrings and later on show you how to make a matching bracelet. So let's make a start on our earrings. For this project, grab yourself 4 different colors of beads and 2 earring hooks. You'll also need a thread and a needle to help us do our brick stitch. To make a start, I'm going to get 4 of my pink beads and thread them through the needle. And I'm going to secure them in place by putting my needle through all 4 of them, like so. So as you can see, I'm putting it in a sort of a square shape. And then what I will do is secure it in place by tying a knot. And you can tie your knot however you want. This is just a way I tie my knot to keep these beads in place. And then what I'll do is go ahead and do another knot just to make sure it's extra secure. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is put my needle through one of these beads and add my smaller silver beads in. So I'm going to do this one by one in between each of these pink beads. So as you can see, I've just got my bead and I've threaded it through, and then I've got another one, and I'll do this 4 times. As you can see, I'm going sort of slowly because I want my tutorials to be a bit more beginner friendly, so that everyone can see each step and know exactly where I'm putting my beads, my needle and my thread. So let's go ahead and add our one last silver bead and secure in place. This time I'm going to go through my pink and silver bead to complete this part. Let's go ahead and add our 4 green beads. So as you can see, I'm putting my needle through the one silver bead I have here, and I'm going to pull that through. And then I'll go through one of my green beads like so and pull my thread through. So at this point, I will just flip my work around like this. And then we can go ahead and start adding our silver beads. So I've got one of my silver beads and I'm putting it through these 2 green beads. And I'm going to do a very similar thing and grab another silver bead and put it through these 2 green beads. And then I'll do another silver bead here. When I add my silver bead this time, I'll put my needle through the green and silver bead together. And then I'm just going to go through the green and silver bead again to secure that in place. And I'll go through the green and silver bead one more time. There we go. Next, we're going to add another set of 4 pink beads. So I'm going to grab all 4 and go through the upper silver bead like so. I'll flip my work around, and then between each of these pink beads, again, we're just going to add our smaller silver beads. I'm just going to stop talking for a bit so you can watch what I'm doing closely. Right, it is looking good so far. So let's go through our pink and silver bead because it's time to add another set of green beads. Go ahead and grab 4 more of your green beads. And then we're going to go through the silver bead like so. You can see it's starting to form a really nice pattern, and at this point you should be sort of getting used to the pattern. So again, I'm going to go ahead and add all my silver beads. I'm now adding my last silver bead in place. And now I'm just going to move up in the work by going through 2 beads like so. And I'll do that again. And I'll flip my work over again. Go ahead and grab 4 more pink beads. We're going to do the exact same thing where I add this on the silver bead at the top here. And then I'll put 4 silver beads in between. I'll stop talking while I do this bit so you can watch what I'm doing. Right, I'm adding my last silver bead and I'll put it through the pink and silver bead to secure that in place. And as usual, I'll just travel up these beads again. It's now time to add our 4 green beads. So through this silver bead right here, I'll go ahead and do an exact similar stitch that I've just done and add my 4 silver beads in between. Here we go, we're adding our last silver bead here. You can see that it's all coming together quite nicely. I'm just going to go through these 2 beads. And at this point, we're going to add 4 more of our pink beads. And I'm going to go through this silver bead right here. And then I'll go ahead and add my 4 tiny silver beads in between each of these pink beads. Right, so now we're going to add 4 more of our green beads. So I'm going to travel up these 2 beads right here, as I want to put my 4 green beads on this silver bead here. So I'm going to get my beads and secure them in place. This part will be done a little differently, as we're going to join our green beads to our pink beads. So I'm going to add 1 silver bead here, and I'll show you how I'm joining this as well. So as you can see, I won't be using my normal amount of silver beads here. Let's grab 1 silver bead, put it through here, And then at this point, I'm going to try and join with the pink beads. So what I'll do is, with that silver bead, I'll go down with my thread and this will join it like so. Then I'll go through my single green bead, and at this point, I'm going to add my final silver bead here. You can see the shape has formed quite nicely now. So I've added my last silver bead here. So what we need to do now is add our green beads in the middle. But before I do that, I'm just going to weave through my work so I can secure all the beads in place. When you reach this point here, what we'll do is we'll add our lighter green beads. I'm getting my lighter green bead here, and then what I'll do is thread through this silver bead and pull it through. Then I'll grab another lighter green bead and then go through the next silver bead. And then grab one more light green bead and put it through the silver bead here. And then I'll do that one more time for my one last light green bead. And now we need to add our earring part. So what you'll do is travel up your work like this to where this silver bead is, and then go through it. And then when you reach this point on your needle, add 2 silver beads, your hook, and then another 2 silver beads like this. And the silver bead that's on the other side, I'll put my needle through that to secure this in place. So I'll go through the silver and the pink bead, like so. And then I'm just taking my thread through the beads just to secure everything in place so it's nice and tight. I'm just going to go through this part again as well. I am loving how this is turning out. I think the pattern is so gorgeous, and of course you can use whatever color beads you want. And again, I'm just going to go through my work with my needle like this. So as I'm going through this, what I'm going to do is tie a knot with my thread, and then I'll carry on weaving through. So I'll put my first knot after this bead, and you can see how I do that. And I'll put my needle through this loop to tie the knot, and then I'll move through my work again and do a very similar thing. At this point, our earring is nicely secured, so I'm going to cut the thread. Our earrings are now complete, so I made 2 pairs to show you for this tutorial. We're going to move on to the bracelet in a second, and it's going to be a very similar thing that we've done with the earrings, so let's check that out. This bracelet is so gorgeous, so measure your wrist according to the size you want. You can also turn it into an anklet if you make it longer. So I've got a 4 variety of beads, and then I've just got my closures for the end of my bracelet. We'll be using a brick stitch, so what we'll do to start is put 4 pink beads through, and then I'm just going to put my needle through it again to secure these in place. And what I'll do is also tie a knot so it forms a nice square pattern. This will be the starting point of our bracelet, And as you can see, I tied a knot one more time. What I'm going to do now is go through the first bead and add a small silver bead. And I'll go through the next pink bead to get into this gap where I'll add another silver bead. And then in this gap as well, I'll add another silver bead. And in this gap, I'll add my final silver bead. This time I'm going through 2 beads to secure these in place. What I'm going to do now is add 4 green beads. And then I'll attach them to the top of this silver bead. And I'm going to do a very similar thing where I go through each bead and I add a silver bead in between each green bead. For this silver bead, what I'm going to do is put my needle through the green and silver bead to secure it in place. And then I'll put my needle through the green and silver bead here. And then I'll do that one more time here as well. And at this point, we're going to add 4 more pink beads, just like we added the green beads, and I'll attach it to this silver bead here. I'll flip my work around and now we can start adding our silver beads. So let's flip our work around here and then add our 4 green beads. And between each green bead, go ahead and add your silver beads like I'm doing over here. When you reach this silver bead at the top, we're going to add our 4 pink beads again. So here's my 4 pink beads. I'm going to put my needle through this silver bead. And then what I'll do is add my smaller silver beads in between every pink bead here. Let's add our final silver bead here. I'm going to go through the pink and silver like so. And then I'll move up in the work so I can add my 4 green beads again. Over here, as you can see, I'm repeating the same pattern. So what I'll do is stop talking for a bit so you can watch what I'm doing. Right, now we've reached the top of this silver bead, it's time to add our 4 pink beads again. Let's add our last silver bead here, and then we'll add our 4 green beads. These 4 green beads that we add next, we're going to attach to the pink beads, so it'll form a nice little square pattern. So I'll show you how we do that. Add your 4 green beads as usual, add 1 silver bead at the top here, and in the next one you're going to join it with the silver bead in the pink square, like so. This will join the 2 together, and then you can go through the green bead and add your silver bead at the bottom here. Then what we'll do is in between, when we get to the silver bead here, we'll add our 4 light green beads. So I just thread it through the silver bead, add my light green bead and thread my needle through the silver bead again. And I'll add my final light green bead here. I'm just going to weave around my work to make sure this is all secured and in place. This is the first section of our bracelet pretty much done. Now we're going to add another section. So what I'll do is move to the edge of this work after I've done weaving around. As you can see, I'm moving to the silver bead on the edge here. At this point, I'll grab my 4 green beads, as you can see, and attach it to the silver bead here. Go ahead and add your silver beads in between, as you normally would. So now I'm just going through my work to get to this silver bead on the edge here, and at this point I will attach my 4 pink beads again. The more you sort of practice this pattern, the quicker you'll be able to do it. As you can see, I'm finding it pretty quick and easy to work through these beads. I find with a lot of my bead crafts it takes quite a bit of practice, but it's really enjoyable. I mean, I'm finding this super fun to do. And at this point, we're just going to add our silver bead like so. And then I'll go up these 2 beads on the side here. And in this corner, what I'll do is add another 4 beads. And then in there, I'll add my silver beads. So that bit's also complete. Let's go ahead and work through to the silver bead at the top here. And what we'll do is add our 4 pink beads. You can see the pattern is really starting to form and it looks gorgeous. I've chosen pink, green and silver, but of course for your project you can pick any colors you like. And what I'll do is try and list all the supplies that I've used in the description box below as well. So now at this point I'm adding my final 4 green beads, and these are the ones I will join to the pink beads. So I'll add my 1 silver bead at the top, and then the next silver bead I'll join from the pink like that, and then I'll go through the green bead in between these two and add my silver bead here. I'm going to leave the middle of this space blank, but you can add the green beads if you want to in the middle like I did with the first round. But for now I'm just going to skip to the edge of the silver beads in this row where I'll start adding my green beads. So if you're enjoying this tutorial so far, I would strongly advise you check out my channel because I have more tutorials on there. I have lots of bead jewelry tutorials and felt craft tutorials. In the future, I'll also add in some resin tutorials, but for now, I'm just sticking to bead jewelry and felt crafts. So really, I'm just continuing what I have been doing for the past few rows. Here comes my pink beads, adding the silvers in between. So in this section of the bracelet, when we get to the end of it, you'll see that I add my 4 lighter green beads in the middle. We're getting closer towards the end of this section here, so I'm just adding my silver beads in, and then I'll add my last green round in after this. Please remember that when we get to the green, we have to attach it to the pink, so it's done slightly differently. You can see here that I attached it from the bottom and I'm working my way up, and I'll add my final silver bead here. This helps me get into the middle where I add my 4 lighter green beads. So as you can see, I'm going to move from the pink bead towards the silver bead in the middle. And now we can start adding our lighter green beads. For now, I'm just going to continue doing this pattern until my bracelet gets a bit longer. So feel free to keep following what I'm doing and watching this in your own time. or if you want, you can skip to the end of the video where I show you how I complete the bracelet. So I've made my bracelet long enough for my wrist. Please do measure yours for your own measurements. And what I'm going to do now is just weave through here and tie in a knot to make sure my work is secure. And I'm just going to do that slightly more because I really like to make sure my beads won't fall out. When you feel it's secure enough, cut the thread off. Let's go ahead and add the end bits. So I've got this type of closure. I'm going to get my jump ring and put it through the middle of this seed bead right here. And on this end, I'm going to attach this piece. And with the other end, we'll do a similar thing where I'll attach the other piece of the closure. So I'll get my jump ring, put it through this seed bead. I'll attach this closure to it and secure that in place. I really love how this bracelet's turned out. This was so much fun to do. Let me know what you guys thought of this tutorial in the comments. And if you're going to be making your own, let me know what colors you'll be using. I really hope you've had fun watching this tutorial. I'm going to come up with a few more patterns and ideas for the next tutorial, so don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Have a lovely day, everyone.